This week's Torah portion is called Vayikra, which means "and he called." There's a couple of anomalies with this opening verse. First of all, the aleph is written half the normal size. Secondly, the verse states, "And he called to Moshe, and God spoke to him from the tent of meeting, saying." A question that comes to mind is who calls out to Moshe? If God calls out to Moshe, then why not just say that? Why word the verse in such a way that implies that two speakers are communicating with Moshe? One calls out to him, and then God speaks to him. Perhaps we could answer this question with my own personal take on the letter Aleph and why it's written half the normal size. Some people mistakenly think that the letter Aleph corresponds to the English letter A. It does not. Aleph makes a variety of sounds depending on a combination of letters and which Hebrew grammar is at work. It can make an O sound as in olam. It can make an U sound as in universita. It can make an E sound as in email. These are only a few examples. So what is the indigenous sound that the letter Aleph makes? Listen carefully. Did you hear that? Of course not. That's because in order to have heard that sound, you would have had to have been next to my mouth with supernaturally sensitive hearing. That's how close and intimate Moshe's relationship was with the Heavenly Father when he called him from the Mishkan, which is the tent of meeting. What we see in this opening verse is the intimate relationship that Moshe has with the Heavenly Father. This is the fruit of taking the Ten Commandments to heart, which are based on two principles: reconciling with our alienated Heavenly Father and honoring our earthly parents as his earthly representatives. This commandment has a promise attached to it, that your lives will be extended on the land that the Lord your God shall give you. As beautiful as this image is, what does it have to do with parental alienation? We've learned that Moshe has had to overcome parental alienation in his own life and inspire a whole nation to eradicate parental alienation from its midst. If you haven't done so already, I encourage you to watch last week's video, Pekudei, which summarizes this. Moshe, as the founding father of our nation, inspires us to such a high level of unity that parental alienation should be a foreign concept to us. When we're at that high level of unity, we also can hear the letter Aleph coming from our Heavenly Father. If, God forbid, we should see parental alienation in our midst, we have a biblical obligation to make it a top priority to address it. Malachi chapter 3 verses 23 and 24 states, "Behold, I will send you Eliyahu the prophet before the coming of the great and awesome day of the Lord, and he shall return the heart of the fathers on the children, and the heart of the children on their fathers, lest I will come and smite the land with isolation." In the year following October 7th, 2023, Israel felt what it's like to be struck and to be isolated. Not only were we struck with the worst act of terrorism since the Holocaust, people all over the world demanded boycotts against us. No matter what our political views, the solution to this is to take to heart our biblical mandate to restore broken relationships between parents and children. Restore children to a place where they honor both of their parents, and our lives will be extended in peace in the land that our Heavenly Father has given to us. Of course, being in unity with each other and with the Heavenly Father involves real relationships. Real relationships include meals and gifts that we share with each other. These can be in times of celebration, they can be when we make mistakes, they can be when we're in grief, they can be just because. This week's Torah portion introduces 5 types of offerings for such occasions. The Olah is the ascent offering, the Mincha is a general offering, the Shlamim is a peace offering, the Chatat is the sin offering, and the Asham is the guilt offering. I won't go into details about these offerings in this video, however it's worthwhile to learn about them in Hebrew. English translations can be misleading, especially when it comes to these offerings. The general principle is that these offerings expand our picture of a nation that has an intimate relationship with the Heavenly Father and has eradicated parental alienation from its midst. Next week's Torah portion is called Tzav, and it will detail the commencement of the priesthood. Why do most of us who are not priests need to study these details?